hopefully you had a happy Thanksgiving. And of course, now we enter the holiday season. Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays, all of them. I'm Benny Pinello alongside my partner, Pat Garianis. Pat, how was your Thanksgiving?
It was great, Benny. You know, you spend time with the family, get to watch some sports, work, unfortunately. But now it's been great, and get to talk about my favorite sport in the world today. A little bit of hoops talk today.
That's the great thing about the holidays. When we enter the cold months, they have to take the sports inside. So we have basketball. Of course, we have our special guest, Dr. Robinson. We'll bring him on for Slam Dunk for the Beach just in a little bit. But talk about eating, talk about Thanksgiving. We want to thank, of course, the great people here at Hooters. They're delicious wings at 136 the Astor Shopping Center in Newark. Come on by. I want to thank Gary and Nick for allowing us to do this show weekly. It's live every Wednesday at 7. You can join the camaraderie here and, of course, take in those delicious wings, Pat.
Yes, you are. And like Benny said, we're live here every Wednesday, 7 o'clock. If you have any highlights, scores, stats, or any other information you would like to see on the show, just contact us, 302sports@gmail.com. Go to the website, 302sports.com, and then follow us on the social medias, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, at 302sports. Of course, on Twitter, we have our weekly poll question. Get involved, vote on that, and then follow us on Snapchat now.
We're on Snapchat.
Yep, sports_302, or come down here again, live every Wednesday at 7 o'clock, Hooters of Newark, 136 in the Astor Shopping
We can get that Snapchat streak going, that old lauded Snapchat streak.
Yep.
Before we get to Dr. Robinson, we want to take a quick break and remind you and hype you up for Slam Dunk to the Beach 2017.
There were years, man, you put those kids out there to Delaware.
That is very impressive. Slam Dunk to the Beach 2017. And welcome back. Of course, our guest is Dr. Matthew Robinson. Dr. Robinson, thank you very much for joining us.
Great, thanks for having me, Ben, Pat.
So we watching that hype video. It's got me excited. Slam Dunk to the Beach. It's amazing history to it. Can you kind of talk about its involvement and how it's begun to come back and revive from 4 seasons ago?
Yeah, you know, it's funny watching everybody watch the highlight video here in the restaurant. Kind of says why we brought it back. It had a great history, and it's as chairman of the Delaware Sports Commission, you know, our role is to bring events into the state that are going to help drive economic impact, bring awareness to the state. And we did a lot of things in Newcastle County. We were doing stuff in Kent County. Dover Motorsports is there. But we heard, you know, hey, what are we doing down in Sussex? Heard about Slam Dunk. It had a great history. Unfortunately, it ended. You know, we looked at it, and we just kept hearing about the great memories of it and the great players who played there in the past. And we looked at it and said, hey, let's give it a shot. And we're in year 4, and we like to think that we're making our own history and having people have those same memories, but in current day.
Right before you guys brought it back, there's names that have been involved in this thing, like LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, Dwight Howard, J.J. Redick, my man. They all started in this, and then you guys brought it back. Can you just talk about some of the players that have been part of this revival?
Yeah.
Like your Mo Bambas and so on. So
you know, what's great, and you mentioned about Thanksgiving, I was sitting around watching the college basketball tournaments with PK80 and some of these matchups and stuff, and you're seeing the kids that were just last year or 2 years ago playing down at Cape Pendleton High School. You know, right off the bat with Bamba, you know, Mo Bamba playing with Westtown last year, and, you know, picked as far as the the Big 12's the freshman of the year.
Yep.
And then you start talking about Dante DiVincenzo, one of our own here in Delaware, and just seeing the great stuff he's doing up at Villanova, and really has become a national caliber player at the intercollegiate level. And then Jalik Felton, who was in that game last year. And it's interesting, he's going to get a lot of playing time with Carolina this year. So it's amazing to see these guys really coming on and playing at the high level. And like I said, like it was mentioned, Sheck Yellow, we already have our first NBA player, going for us.
It's very impressive. Talking about those names, you have some greats there, but those greats aren't going to be playing in this year's game. Let's talk about some of the newcomers, the new kids to keep your eye on.
Great. He's a veteran. They may name the gym after him down in Cape Henlow, but Cam Reddish, his fourth year, he's at Haverford School's first year. He's been Westtown the remaining time. And, Cam just signed with Duke, third-ranked player in the country. And that's kind of neat to think about next year in Duke, Carolina. You're going to have Felton going against Reddish. And it's going to be a rematch of maybe one of the greatest games ever played, in the state of Delaware in terms of the level of play. Incredible memories, with that game. Roselle Catholic, a guy named Naz Reed, just signed with LSU. They're already talking that he's a potential lottery pick, with his abilities. He was there last year and really top talent. And then in terms of the John Carroll, two really good players, Emmanuel Quickly, third point guard that will have at Slam Dunk that has signed, 3 straight years that have signed with Kentucky. So he's with John Carroll out of Baltimore. So just a real quality lineup of players that we have there. And the last one, Simi Shitu, who's from Vermont Academy, just last week signed with Vanderbilt. So, again, the neat thing, and going back to the first question, to bring that collection of talent into the state, for our sports fans here in the state, it's a neat thing to be a part of.
Yeah, and it's not just about these national teams, Benny. There's also local flavor involved in this. And another part of this event is the great Delaware teams that get to participate. And in the last 3 seasons of Slam Dunk to the Beach, it's been a launching point for the eventual state champion. Can you talk about the successful Delaware teams we've seen the past couple of years?
It's funny. We had all 4 coaches down at when we announced the national teams, and I said, hey, no pressure, guys. Yeah. But again, our state champions come out of it, with Sanford and Sally's and last year Smyrna. So it's great to have them involved with the tournament, and so I know the kids really get it. It was exciting getting the call, Coach from Carabel this year and letting them know that, they were coming, and just, genuine excitement from the kids in the state. And they're looking for an opportunity to show themselves off. And go against, and the thing that's neat about it is we make it a point for our teams, the state teams, to get to play a national team. They still play against each other. We open up, with Howard, the Howard game, Smyrna. But it's them having the opportunity to play against the teams outside the area.
So you mentioned some of these national matchups. Can we talk about them? What do you have planned around that?
I'll tell you what, it's kind of neat. All 3 days, the format is we have 2 sessions all 3 days. Each day there's several very good games. We got to highlight a few. I think day 1, right off the bat, we have great Collegiate Academy coming back from last year, and they're going against Roselle. So day 1, great matchup. You're talking about both teams having nationally ranked players, going at it. Day 2, throughout the day, every game we have a nationally ranked player or a nationally ranked team playing in one of those 6 contests over the course of that day. And again, I think you got an East-West Coast battle because we have the team coming in from California, Harvard-Westlake, is going against Gonzaga from D.C. So outstanding matchup. And then day 3 is arguably maybe the best game of the tournament when you have Cam Reddish going at it with finishing up his career playing at his last game at Slam Dunk. So that kind of a neat thing to be able to see him going off.
100%. Now, last season, you brought this up. Great collegiate Westtown, and honest to God, for me, it's the best basketball game, professional, college, high school, I've ever seen live in my entire life. Doctor, do they still talk to you about that game? Do people still bring this up? I think that's going to be one of those games that I think Cape holds maybe about 3,000, and in 10 years there's going to be 10,000 people that were there at the game. Exactly. I've heard it multiple times. The highlights, the way that just exploded on the internet last year, the highlight video, some of the highlights of that game. And, the thing about it, I talked to Seth Berger, the Westtown coach, after the game, and he said, it was just a fun game. The kids were having fun. And it was almost, I'm gonna one-up you. And it was just, it was great sportsmanship. It was great basketball. The fans were going crazy. And, that was, again, I think a defining moment for us. As far as, like after that game, I remember saying both Seth and then a couple of our board members, I think we're back.
We're back and we're not going anywhere.
Slam Dunk to the Beach certainly is back up. I want to talk about all this collection of talent. So anytime you have this much talent in one area, especially high school players, it's going to attract some college coaches. What coaches, what schools have reached out to Slam Dunk to the Beach? You
know, it's funny. I do an international coaching program, so I was up with Temple and Coach Dunphy about 2 weeks ago, and I walked in right off the bat, where's the schedule? I said, well, Coach, I said it's going to be out in 2 weeks, but guess what? I'll give it to you a little early. So, and I've gotten several emails. Penn State's excited about it. Villanova's always interested because Villanova's had some great success.
Oh, yeah.
It's really interesting. I think here's a great story about Slam Dunk. Because last year, Colin Gillespie coming into Slam Dunk. I talked to a couple mid-major type coaches that said, yeah, we might be interested in the guy. And he had a breakout performance last year against Quad A Green.
Yep.
And at that point, it went from some mid-majors that it was now Virginia, Villanova, Notre Dame in the conversation. And that was kind of neat to see. So I think the coach is coming. I think what the coach's attraction is, the summer program is very much about showing off your individual abilities. And the college coaches like seeing a kid playing within a system. They like to see them playing in a game that matters, that it's, winning, losing, that type. And here, even though we don't have a tournament format, national rankings are determined off our games.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of schools that will say, hey, we want to be in because we're going to have an opportunity to play this school because we're not going to see them in our regular season. So that's why we try to provide those matchups. So the games do matter for those teams in their national rankings. And I think the college coaches want to see that interaction between the athlete and the coach, them with their teammates, them going against that good competition. So, again, the college coaches love it. And the thing we hear, too, is the way we structure the tournament, it's very concentrated of elite games. So you're not watching a game at 9 o'clock in the morning and then maybe at 6 o'clock at night there's going to be another good game. It's 3 straight good games.
Yes.
And that's what they really value, that they're sitting there saying, hey, I can see all this stuff in one shot.
I agree. And now, obviously, this event, it's amazing. The amount of Division I talent and so on that you see there. It's more for the community as well. What does Slam Dunk do as far as the local economy and how it sparks the economy down there?
What we've done is we're bringing, here I'm going to be a college professor for a second. True economic impact is bringing somebody in, otherwise wouldn't be there. So we like to think that we're bringing outside visitors, number one, in the form of the team and their followers, but the basketball fans that are coming down for those games, whether it be 1 day, 2 days, we have people down for all 3 days. So it's the idea of the beach community has a lull, during that time period, and we're bringing visitors down there. And it's neat to be down on whether it be, down at downtown Lewis, walking through the outlets out on Route 1, being in Rehoboth, and just seeing the people there in the Slam Dunk gear with high school teams walking through. So I know they appreciate it. And what's really been neat about it is, I always talk about it, I view this as a community event that gets national attention. And the local community down in Sussex County has been incredible getting behind it. One, the community leaders, we have the Sussex County Council that has supported it. We've had the General Assembly who's provided funding for it. And then the local businesses have gotten behind it. And it's really now turned into this community event that we have socials at the end of each night that's for our sponsors, and we're welcoming the fans to come out. And we want it to be the event down there in between Christmas and New Year. And I think we're there.
Well, Slam Dunk to the Beach 2017, where can people go to get their tickets so they can be there?
I tell you what, slamdunktothebeach.com, the tickets are there. And it's a great point. I was talking to someone earlier today. To have a memory, you got to be there.
Yes.
And we've had a lot of walk-ups. And this year, last year, 2 of the sessions were sold. So I don't want to be turning anyone away at the door driving there. My advice is to get the tickets in advance.
Yes.
If you can go online, very easy to do, and you have that ticket, I tell you what, great holiday gift. And it was funny, I heard a story from someone telling me how they got Slam Dunk tickets when they were a kid, and that was their Christmas present, and they remember how excited they were knowing, hey, in 2 days I'm going to see those players.
Yeah.
And like I said, memories. One last story I'll share with you. Last year the Unified game was played during the tournament, and Seth Berger, a complete class act guy, had his team out there from Westtown watching. And then they were shooting some baskets, and there were little kids there, collecting the rebounds and things. And I'm sitting there saying, you got Cam Reddish, you got Mo Bamba. These guys are going to be the NBA, and this kid 10 years from now is going to say, I was down on the floor with those guys collecting rebounds.
I rebounded Mo Bamba's shot.
There you go. You were there last year? Okay.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, just real quick before we wrap things up, this event is the real deal.
Yes.
If you get a chance to go down there, get online, get the tickets. This thing, I've been there the past 3 seasons, Benny. I'm going to be there every year ever since. It's that great of an event. It really is.
And let me just do through kudos out there. We have position sport. You talked about the teams we get. Position sport, I can't take any credit for him, but the guy Mark Steigerwald, a UD grad, He runs the tournament. He and his team help us identify the teams and bring the teams, because the teams want to work with a high-quality event, and that's what Position puts on. So we couldn't do it without them, and it's a great board that we have down there that really gets involved. So, it's really a team effort, and they just roll me out to do these interviews, man, and believe me, they keep me out of the business so it runs right. But
Dr. Robinson, thank you very much for stopping by. It's Slam Dunk to the Beach 2017. Get your tickets at slamdunktothebeach.com. We'll be back with more on basketball coming up on 302 Sports Weekly.
yeah, man, good stuff, man. Good stuff.
That was awesome.
Good stuff, man.
Welcome back to 302 Sports Weekly. Benny Pinella, Pat Garianis, of course, Mike Lang and Jason Winchell joining us. It's time to talk basketball. And Pat, some people may not call us gentlemen, but it's ladies first. We're talking girls basketball.
Yep,
just broke the system there. Looking at the top 10 for girls basketball in the preseason rankings, we have Caravel at number 1, Sanford, Conrad, Ursuline, Caesar, Rodney, Howard, Archmere, St. Elizabeth's, Cape Henlopen, and Hodgson in girls basketball, Pat.
You know, you look at it, a little interesting looking at these top 10 matchups, or these top 10 rankings. There's one team that looks kind of out of place if you're familiar with the past couple of seasons. Why are the defending state champion Ursuline Raiders ranked 4th to start the season, guys?
Well, I can tell you why. They lost Alicia Lewis, transferred out. Yanni Headley, transferred out. Olivia Mason is going to miss the beginning of the season. She'll be back in January, but she's missing the beginning of the season. So they're going to have to replace those three right out of the gate. They still have Maggie Connolly.
Of course.
She's going to be the focus of that team, but she's going to need others around her to step up. Don't you think, Mike?
Yeah, they also, Kay Woola, who is a very key role player for them, is also injured with an ACL injury. And they graduated Chriselle Gordy and a couple other players. Lindsey Brown graduated. So we talked about how deep that team is. They're going to need Anna Olszewski, Abby Rosillo, Allie Olmstead. They're going to need these girls to step up. I think number 4 is a fair spot for Ursuline to start the season.
Yeah, I mean, Alicia Lewis is a legitimate Division I player.
Committed to Georgia Tech. Yeah.
Yep. Wow. Very impressive stuff there. But, all right, so drop Ursuline down to 4. What makes Caravel the number 1 team?
Well, they were in the final last year. Did not play their best basketball. They've been in the final 3 times in the last 5 years, twice in the last 3 years. They didn't really graduate. They graduated Grace Lang, who's playing at Princeton now. But everybody else is back, including Maya Bryson and Sasha Marvel, 2 of the top scorers in the state. They also have Carly Cawley, Alowski. They're loaded, and they added Kendra Warren, the Sanford transfer. She's a tall, big body, takes up a lot of room in the middle. And frankly, they were missing a little bit of beef in the middle, and she clears the lane. They're stacked, they're well coached, they're experienced, and they're really, really good. And I expect them to be back at the Bob Carpenter Center, really, really deep into the playoffs.
You know, guys, the last couple of years, girls basketball in the state of Delaware has been very top-heavy. It's usually been a 14 race the past, in recent history. Is there any team 6 through 10 that can make a run in the top 5 of our rankings later this year?
I like Howard. Howard's a dangerous team. They got size. They got two good guards. This year, they're playing a tougher schedule this year. They're going to play the Ursulines. They're going to play the Archmers. They're going to play these top teams right out of the gate. They're playing Conrad at the Diamond State Tournament. So they're going to test themselves with the schedule. That's one team I think could be dangerous come state tournament time.
So that's 4. That's 6 and beyond. What about unranked teams, Mike?
Yeah, I'm looking. I have a couple. First, Mount Pleasant. They had 13 wins last year in the regular season. They've got more height than almost any team in the state. Zaria Newsom is about 6'2", legit, and they have a great guard, Nikia Jackson. The thing about Mount Pleasant, I think they need to make better decisions on the court, better shot discipline. With their height, they can play with anybody height-wise. I think if they play smarter basketball, they can be up there with anybody. And the other one, with an asterisk, is St. Thomas More. The roster's not online yet. If they return half of the talent they had last year, they'll make some noise. But they finished the year with about 4 girls left on the roster. It's a rough year last year, but Thomas More could do some damage. But I just don't know who's playing for them. So they're really unknown at this point.
One of those teams you mentioned there, Mike, was Mount Pleasant. They get an early shot here next Tuesday, 4:45.
Yeah.
Home versus number 8 St. Elizabeth. So they get a shot to prove themselves.
Interesting to bring up that matchup. Of course, looking at our key matchups to start the women's basketball season, you have Sussex Central and CR, Tatnall and Conrad, of course, St. Elizabeth's Mount Pleasant, and Howard and Concord all going early on. All right, to wrap it up, Mike, give us 5 players to watch for this year.
All right, so Lynn J. Brown Dickinson, she's a senior, has not had much around her, but she can play. She is their key. So I say Lynn J. Brown. Zaria Newsom, I mentioned her from Mount Pleasant, 6'2". She might be a little taller by now. Logan Handy, Laurel. She's a junior this year. Shoots the lights out. Again, another player that hasn't had much of the supporting cast, and her schedule hasn't been much, but she can play. Natalie DiPaolo out of Friends. I believe she's a senior this year. If her game progressed over the summer, over the offseason, she plays the inside and outside. There's a lot of stuff for Friends. And finally, Jeanne Snow from Concord. That's a player that people do know. Now without Dennis and a couple other players up there at Concord, she's the unquestioned leader of the Concord team.
Talk about Jason. If you got 5 players as well, but is there any newcomers as well? Do you have anything? Who should we look forward to in your eyes?
Well, for my 5 players to watch, I got Maggie Conley of Ursuline, Shasha Marvel of Caravel. She's really going to help that team. She transferred from St. Thomas More 2 years ago and really led Caravel to that state finals last year. 3 is Madison Stewart, a sophomore from Archmere. She was a freshman last year and was a heck of a player there at Archmere. Watch for her. Olivia Tucker out of Sanford. She can shoot the 3 ball better than anyone I've ever seen. She's good for about 6 or 7 threes. And then we can't forget Julie Paleja out of Conrad. And she's only a sophomore. That's scary.
Yeah, that's a team we didn't talk much about.
And then my 2 newcomers to watch is Taylor Watkins, an 8th grader at Caravel. We talked about Caravel having depth this year. She's going to provide that, a great 8th grader for that team. And then Nala Coleman of St. E's. She's a 9th grader. She's going to make St. E's look. They have to replace 4 starters. She's going to be one of them that gets that job done for the St. E's team.
Mike, Jason got a chance to get 2 newcomers. Who are your 2 newcomers?
So this one is not new, but she's new to her school. Tink Davis, a sophomore now at Appoquinimink. She played at Wilmington Christian as an 8th grader, played at St. Elizabeth's last year as a 9th grader. I think she needed St. E's just didn't work out for her. I think she needed a fresh start. I'm counting her as a new player because she didn't play a whole lot last year for the Vikings. And the other one is at St. Elizabeth's is our Davia League, Alexis' sister. She's athletic. She's going to take up some space, and she played volleyball and was very good as a volleyball player. So I say our Davia Lee, a junior at St. Elizabeth's, is someone to watch.
Interesting stuff going down for girls basketball. How will the season unfold? That's to be seen. The ladies went first. The men are next. Who's number 1? We'll tell you coming up next on 302 Sports Weekly.
Life's too short to hate your home. Remodel your home with the pros voted Delaware's #1 home improvement company. Ferris Home Improvements has something for every homeowner at their new showroom on the corner of Kirkwood Highway and Harmony Road in Newark, Delaware. Explore products and layouts with the area's top designers. Touch and feel products that inspire your dream space. Ferris Home Improvements' pride in the details make them the area's best in roofing, windows and doors, siding, decks, kitchens, and bathrooms. Want a professional, no-pressure remodel? Go see the best at the Big Shamrock on Kirkwood Highway. Ferris Home Improvements. Quality workmanship from a neighbor you can trust.
The Hadley Group is your local real estate resource. Brian Hadley joined Patterson Schwartz & Associates in 2005. In 2013, Nicole Flora joined Brian, followed by Emma Burnett and Grant Jepp in 2014. That's when the Hadley Group was formed. Patterson Schwartz Associates offer you exceptional knowledge of local market conditions and a commitment to represent you honestly and professionally. So for your next purchase or sale, think the Hadley Group. Visit our website at thehadleygroupre.com.
Welcome back to 302 Sports Weekly. Benny Pinella, Pac Arianes. It's time to talk boys basketball for the state of Delaware. Looking at the rankings right now as they flash on your screen, some interesting people falling into the top 10. We have Woodbridge, Dover, Sally's, Mount Pleasant, St. George's Tech. That's your bottom 5. Your top 5, Cape Henlopen, Howard, Sanford, Caravel, and at number 1, Smyrna.
Defending champs, baby.
They were the
Defending champs at number 1. Are they really that good, Mike, to be number 1 all over again?
Well, they have their... Yes, they have...
Make a long story short.
Caleb Matthews can light it up from anywhere to court, and they got Greg Bloodsworth transferred from St. Thomas More. Other than that, Jamie Barnett transferred out. Zuby Nwanko is gone.
Big loss.
And they lost about 6-7 seniors. It's going to be a new look Smyrna team, so whether they stay at the number 1 spot remains to be seen.
It's going to be interesting. Jason, there's a couple teams, are there a couple teams, not ranked in the top 10 that we should keep an eye out for this year?
Yeah, I always look at William Penn. They have one of the best coaches in Stephen Christensen, and they play defense.
Yes.
The problem with them is they need someone to put the ball in the basket. But they'll keep the games low, and when you play defense in high school basketball, especially in boys, you can compete against any team. They're a team outside the top 10 I always look at. Also, St. Mark's. Now, St. Mark's has to replace a lot in Chris Lubman and Billy Sullivan. But they got Matt Tynes and William Hoffman. that can provide some scoring for St. Mark's, and they are another team that plays defense, and they frustrate you with their style of play. They like to play slow, and slow. And as a team that likes to play fast-paced, they can frustrate you.
And William Penn reminds me a lot of the Spartans. I believe head coach is he's from the St. Mark's coaching tree, I guess you could say, but they do play a very similar style. I agree.
Hey, listen, there's nothing more frustrating than being on 95 behind a slow driver. But bringing it back into the top 10, Mike, are there any teams at 10 to 6, maybe even below number 1, that can possibly challenge Smyrna?
In the 6 to 10, let's throw that down a little bit because I wasn't real sure. I said Mount Pleasant.
Mount Pleasant.
Despite the loss of Kayvon Kramer, he's out with the ACL injury. They have a lot coming back. They always have. I think they have too many players almost on that roster, but they do have a lot of talent. They have Famir Ali running the show, and he's a very talented point guard. Doug Snay, underrated big man. He's going to have to step up with Kramer missing. Vincent Smith, another guard. So they're well coached. But I think Mount Pleasant in that 6 to 10 range could do some make some noise.
Now, fellas, last year we saw a 19 seed Caravelle make it to the finals. This year, they returned most of that team. What do they have to do to get back to the title game? They're a very talented team, Jason.
Yeah, I think they can score with anybody. They got Parker, Alderman. They have some scoring. The thing with them is Parker got hot last year in that tournament and carried them. He's going to have to be hot again in the state tournament. But I think talent-wise, they are right up there with Sanford and Smyrna. So as long as they stay healthy, I think they can compete this year.
Of course, Coy Parker led the state in scoring last year. 2 years ago, he was only topped by one guy, Mikey Dixon, who's playing at St. John's right now. So the guy can fill it up and has been for the past couple of years.
Be interesting to see about that. Looking at some key matchups we have coming up. Smyrna and Cape Henlopen talked about that. Concord and Howard, Sally's and William Penn, and the number 1 team Smyrna will also play Dover. That is going to be on Tuesday. Mike, let's talk about some of those matchups. What are some keys in those upcoming games?
Well, at the beginning of the season, it's always a matter of you've been playing in the offseason, you play in the fall leagues. This is getting game action under your belt, getting comfortable with each other. Learning systems and playing games that matter are different than games at the PAL Center in the middle of August.
Yeah.
It's you have to get used to playing with each other. We talked about how many kids transfer these days. It's not like it was even 10 years ago. It's so much different now. There's only you have to get used to playing with each other, and I think that's the key in your early season is getting used to each other and getting ready for the January and February matchups.
Keep an eye out for Henlopen.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I was just going to tell you.
They could pull off an upset early in the season. Randy Rickards and company, very talented team that's kind of been on the upswing the past couple of seasons. And I know Jason.
And they lost Barnes to transfer, so they do have Rickards and Robertson, very talented scorers.
Yeah, and they get Smyrna right out of the gate, and then the following week they get Sanford. So there you go. 2 top 5 teams on the schedule to start the season.
Chance to shake
not
some
easy.
things up. It's not easy, but a chance to shake some things up. All right, Mike, give me 5 players to watch for.
You're killing me. This is easy. I'm going Jair Davis at Sanford. He's a kid. Was he a sophomore this year?
Yep.
I saw him at St. E's last year, scored 29 points, and they lost the game, but I think Sanford kind of took the foot off the gas in the fourth quarter. But Jair Davis, you haven't seen him play, go watch Sanford.
He's a legit D1 player.
Yes, he is. And I think this might be his last year at Sanford. That's just a hunch that I have. He might be heading to one of these bigger programs. Lamar Woody, Howard. Kid lights it up. He's a dynamic player. Get out and see Woody play. Davion Robinson from Cesar Rodney. Don't hear much about the Riders, but this kid can score. He can ball handle. Go watch the Riders if you get a chance for you downstate. Deshaun Highland, Bones from St. George's. He's no longer in Kyson Rawls' shadow. It's Highland's team. We'll see how St. George. I know they're ranked. He is the key to that team. And then the last one I'm going to say, the guy you won't hear about, Jair Fields from McCain. He He's kind of on an island over not too far from here, playing for the Highlanders. But I've seen him play. He can shoot. If he gets any kind of help, maybe McCain can get into that tournament this year. But Jair Fields. I got 2 Jairs in my list. Who you got, Jason?
Well, I got one same as you, but I'll start with Khalid Matthews of Smyrna. He can fill out the stat sheet, plays all-around game, and just a great guy.
He's got range from the whole gym,
Yeah.
right over half court.
Yeah, absolutely. He can shoot from anywhere. I have Lamar Woody. That was the same one as Mike from Howard. He can score, and he scores almost 30 a game, so it's a no-brainer. Paul Brown of Salesianum. His game got much better as Tariq left last year, playing with his brother Jack, and they got a freshman I'll talk about later in my newcomers. So Randy Rickards out of Cape Henlopen. We mentioned him earlier. He's a real good player. And then also I have Jair Davis of Sanford.
Yeah, Jair Davis again, Ben.
Yep.
Legitimate Division I basketball player. I had a chance to talk to him last year at the Slam Dunk to the Beach. He's gaining interest. This is from him. This is a quote. Villanova. Wow. St. John's. Syracuse. He said Duke talked to him not so much, but he was on the U16 team, Team USA. This kid is a legitimate, get out and see this kid while you still can. Like Mike said, you never know. He could go on to bigger pastures after this season.
I'll be very impressed to see. All right, quickly, both of you, 2 newcomers.
Yeah, well, I'm going to steal one of Jason's because I didn't have a chance to really get around and see it. He saw a lot of summer basketball I did. And I'm going to go with Nani Njoku.
Yep. Okay.
7 feet tall. He's a freshman at Sanford. Went to St. Edmunds Academy. Shout out to the Lancers.
Wait, he's 7 feet tall as a high school freshman.
Feet tall. They have a lot of height at Sanford, and he's the heightest.
Yeah, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, saw this on Twitter, he's the #1 ranked big man as a freshman.
Yeah, hasn't even
Sister
played
plays
yet.
the paddle of
Yep.
it because see Nani Njoku, and that's my freshman to watch. And I know Jason's got somebody.
Well, I have the same one. He's #1 on everyone's list. And then I have Rasheem Clark, the point guard from Salesiana.
Oh,
He had a great summer league. We watched him in summer league. He really, he's a point guard Salesiana needs because they lose Mike Kempsky.
Yeah.
And Kempsky was the man that Paul Brown required to double teams. He would kick it out to Kempsky for the 3. Clark's going to have to fill that role and fill it in a hurry for Salesiana this year.
It's going to be a fun basketball season.
I'm still hung up on.
Friday night?
I'm still hung up on 7 feet tall as a freshman.
Yeah, he's up there. He
Like
may
what?
not be. He may not be legit 7 foot, but you're going to stand. You're going to stand
not
next to
done
this young
growing yet.
man.
Yeah.
What did I do to deserve 5'7"?
And
Not
hey,
fair.
Friday night Tiger tip-off over at AI
Yeah,
DuPont, so you can go watch St. E's and AI and a couple other teams. I'm so excited. I can't wait.
I love it.
Mike's excited. A lot of
excited.
basketball to be
I couldn't
played.
play basketball, but I love watching it.
Well, it's also the best time of year for football. We have the championship game coming up for high school football, and we're going to talk about it coming up next on 302 Sports Weekly.
Welcome to Hooters. Have a seat wherever you like.
Hooters of Newark is located at 136 Astro Shopping Center, Newark, Delaware. Come in day or night to watch your favorite teams and sports on our many TVs. It's a great, fun-filled environment that is kid-friendly. Our craveable food menu has all the appetizers, burgers, salads, tacos, seafood, you name it, as well as our world-famous Hooters wings, which are the official wings of 302sports.com. And began his career in home finance in 2002 as a mortgage consultant. Since 2002, Brian has helped over 1,000 home buyers achieve their dreams of owning a home. Brian's knowledge of current market conditions and his detailed evaluation of buyers' finances ensures that each buyer will receive the best mortgage to fit their needs. Brian is often commended on how efficient and effortless he makes the mortgage process for everyone from first-time home buyers to investors to experienced buyers. For the loan that fits you, contact Brian today. Mr. Italian began. Unique Image opened for business in Wilmington, Delaware in 1979 with one focus, wowing our customers with great products and even greater customer service. 30 years later, we are still doing exactly that. Whether you're looking for marketing tools to promote your business, gifts for your employees or clients, or planning a special event, we're here with the voice of experience to help you every step of the way for your complete satisfaction. Visit our new showroom in the Mill Creek Shopping Center, 4577 Kirkwood Highway. Unique Image, you envision.
Welcome back to 302 Sports Weekly. Benny Pinella, Pat Garianis. It's time to talk about high school football. It is championship game time.
Is that what's
Pat.
happening? I forgot.
Hey, we can't forget about the full sports.
I got all basketball in my head.
Well, it seems kind of weird talking about football, especially this late, but of course we have our championship games to talk about. Coming up, we'll start with Division II first. Coming up, we have our Division II state championship, Delmar versus Milford. Very interesting how the D2 playoffs laid out.
Well, we talked about this 2 weeks ago. Delmar's an 8 seed that really was better than an 8 seed. I mean, we had a four-way tie or something like a 5-way tie.
Five-way tie.
For the four-way tie.
Yeah.
Delmar, because of the points and tiebreakers, happened to fall into the 8 seed. They were much better. Yeah. Much better. The kid scored 8 touchdowns the other day.
Yeah, to Sean Denard.
Yes. They're much better than an 8 seed. Milford is a 4 seed, but they beat Woodbridge and snapped their long win streak. So Milford with 3 losses is a 4 seed. Delmar with 1 loss is an 8. It's kind of
it's incredible, isn't it?
It's kind of, and I think Delmar, they beat Milford today, so during the regular season. So throw the seedings out the window for me this year. Should be a good Henlopen South championship game.
Yeah, you look at it. Milford was the ultimate hot team coming into the playoffs. They got that win against Woodbridge, and that kind of springboarded them. Delmar's got that 3-headed monster. They got Deshaun Denard, who's been kind of killing things. Brooks Parker during the year, and then that freshman, Dante Trader, Jason, he's been impressive. Third-string quarterback, freshman.
Third-string quarterback, his first start is against DMA in the playoff game.
Yeah.
And they fall down 13-0 in that game with a freshman quarterback, and we're sitting there going, they could be in trouble. No, they scored 34 straight points. And defensively, he picked off 2 passes.
Yes.
So he's a better defender than he is a quarterback. He's just a flat-out athlete. And he's composure. He didn't turn the ball over, which Delmar needed. And like you said, they get behind that the ground game, and they're just a great team. And put up 56 points against second-seeded AI last week. That's just incredible.
We'll always talk about seeds. One was planted during the season. These two teams actually played each other. Got to go back and remember 3rd. It was Delmar versus Milford, and Delmar took home the win 35-10 on its home field. Brooks Parker had 2 big touchdown runs in that game. So is that kind of is that something you kind of take in the back of your mind into this game, or do you kind of have to throw that out because these are 2 teams that have done vastly different things since then?
Yeah, I don't think you can throw it out. I mean, you have Milford is going to have to stop the run game. It's not Parker alone. Now they have to worry about Denard too. So how do you stop that running game? It's, these kids have been running all over each other, or all over other teams all season. So I think if Milford, that game's in the top of your mind. They should have no trouble scouting Delmar. They played them this year. They seeded them downstate. It's pretty simple. I think that game is obviously very important, even though it was 6 weeks ago or whenever they played.
Yeah. And a couple of guys to keep an eye on for Milford. First of all, DJ Bowman is a guy you got to keep an eye on, number 3. He was a difference maker in that Friends game. Also, number 21, Jordan Waters, where DJ is more of that scat back there and Sproles type. Jordan Waters will hit you in the mouth, punch you in the mouth. So those are the 2 guys to keep an eye on from Milford. I know we talked a lot about Delmar, but
yeah, and that was a Week 9 matchup. So it was towards the end of the season, which helped Delmar win the Henlopen South. They beat Milford and Woodbridge back-to-back weeks, Week 9 and 10. And that's when we kind of found out that Delmar was legit and was going to be a team to reckon with. Milford got the monkey off its back. They lost to Friends last year in the state tournament. They beat them this year. So they're riding that momentum high. And I think this is going to be a great game. And it's good that it's the night game, 5:30 p.m.
How about Delmar? Field hockey state champs. They could be a football state champs. Pretty nice fall down there, way down there at the bottom of Delaware. You're right on the border.
So I guess my final question to you, Mike, is who has the edge? Which one of these teams do you think is going to pull it out?
I'd have to give it to Delmar. They got the momentum. They're just playing. They're playing their best football of the year. And if you're going to be playing your best football, now's a really good time to be doing it. Their running game is just proven to be unstoppable. And you mentioned Trader, and for a freshman, just to see him, all you want him to do is
manage the game.
Just not make mistakes. Just manage the game exactly, Pat. That's it. So I'll give a slight edge. No offense, but I'm giving a slight edge to Delmar in this one.
Jason, what say you?
Me, I'm going Delmar in this one. I think their offense is just an incredible offense to watch, and David Hearn's a great coach down there at Delmar, and I like Delmar in this one.
It's going to be interesting, Pat.
That it is.
That
I'm not making a pick now. I'm not making a pick.
You've got to travel through Milford, don't you? So.
I'm not making a pick on that one.
It's going to be very interesting, the Division II state tournament championship. And now it's time to talk about the D1 championship. No surprise to anyone.
Week 1 again.
It is.
It's like we've
Deja vu all over again.
Deja vu all over again. Where have we seen this before? Oh yeah, go back about 365 days before. This is a rematch of last year's state championship game. Smyrna versus Middletown. All over again. It's going to be at UD Saturday at 1 p.m. Smyrna finishing the regular season, having a great playoff run. Middletown doing the same. It's interesting how these two teams meet again, Mike.
Yeah, well, Smyrna was 0-2 to start the season, and they obviously haven't lost since. And they're not just beating teams; they're beating all teams. They're obliterating. Middletown also blowing out teams. What I like about first off, that game that we opened the season with on 302. 35-28 Middletown was back and forth. It was jam-packed. A great way to open the season. We're going to close the season with the same two teams. This could be one of the best state championship games we've seen in years. Well, I know Smyrna and Sally's went overtime a couple years ago, so this should be right up there with it. I like Middletown. Has multiple offensive weapons. Drew Fry and Nick Johnston, Kenny Edelin, and they have the running back. Kendrick Whitehead. Just like Middletown's balance, but from Smyrna, they have a lot of weapons receiving, but it all revolves around Will Knight. And he's a player that I wish any high school fan had a chance to see. And if you haven't, Saturday at UD, and he'll be playing college there too. But Will Knight is a special player. So you got Will Knight against Middletown's multiple weapons. So it should be a really, really fun game.
We talked about, first of all, completely shocked by the game last week. I was high on Hodson all year. Smyrna really put the pedal to 48-8. I was really surprised by that. Smyrna's clicking on all cylinders at a great time. And you talked about Will Knight. First of all, he did break the all-time rushing record within the state of Delaware last week. Congratulations to you, Will Knight. Just another accolade to add to your probably multiple shelves worth of accolades that you have.
He's got a room.
But a thing to keep an eye, Isaiah Wilson had 2 early touchdown passes in that game. That could be key to Smyrna getting into this game.
Hey Pat, early in the year, that first game, that was his first game with that new playing with Smyrna. As the season got on, he got better and better and better. So that's what's going to make this a different matchup than that first matchup in the season where he was kind of just learning the offense at that point. Now it's the last week of the season, and he's ready to go. And they were dominant against Hodson the other night.
And another thing, Middletown struggled second half against William Penn.
Yes, they did.
Something to keep an eye on. See if they can get their offense back started up. But they defeated the 6-4 William Penn Colonials 21-13. Smyrna's got to be going into this one with a little bit of a smile on their face.
Yeah, Middletown's had some games this year that makes you go.
They're undefeated. It's hard to beat a team twice.
They're undefeated. It's hard to beat a team twice. You're right. They are undefeated, and they've had some games that they've ran some teams off the field. But at the same time, against Smyrna, those games are tight. They're high scoring, but they're tight. And this year, we'll see what happens. But Mike, who do you give the edge to?
This is a tough one.
Yeah, you're killing me.
I don't know if you could do this.
To me, this is a
legit.
Having watched that first game, I called the first game of the year. It's a pick 'em.
It's a toss-up.
I mean, if I had to lean one way or the other, I think I'd lean Middletown. But really slightly. Is Will Knight, how's his ankle? Is he 100% healthy? I think he's fine. But man,
he looked all right last week.
Yeah, I was just going to say he was fine last week.
To me, this is a pick 'em.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's a pick 'em. It's a toss it up game. To me, it's always be interesting to see what Middletown's offense. If it was the offense we saw in the first half against William Penn, they'll be all right. If it was the offense in the second half, they struggled a little bit. To me, Wilson could be the difference this time around.
I think they could get 15,000 people at that game this weekend at UD. It deserves it. I think it's going to be that good of a game.
I think that's the key. Isaiah Wilson for Smyrna, if he can be what he did last week, not turn the football over and take advantage in the passing game, that could be the difference to really bring this game tight. Otherwise, with Middletown, it's just getting back to clicking on that first half, like Jason said.
Delmar, Milford, Smyrna, Middletown. You, of course, check those games out on the DIAA network.
Yeah, it's
NFHS.
It's a below the canal type of year, isn't it?
Yes, NFHS network there. And, of course, two great championships. Go out and watch it. It's going to be fantastic.
It's not supposed to be that cold on Saturday. We've had some really cold
championships. At University of Delaware in that stadium. A lot of kids may find themselves playing there the following years.
The first game is at 1 p.m.?
That is 1 o'clock. That's a Division I game with Smyrna and Middletown. They play UD at 1, and then 5:30. They will, however, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they have to empty out the stadium and then bring people back.
Well, there also is the Unified Championship in between games. So if you haven't seen those guys play, that's a good reason to stick around and watch the Unified Championship. And I don't know who's in that game, but.
If you haven't gotten your share of football yet, Saturday is your day to do it. Championship games there. Speaking of University of Delaware, got to talk about how they wrapped up their season. We also have much more to get to, and the final rundown is coming up next on 302 Sports Weekly.
Unique Image opened for business in Wilmington, Delaware in 1979 with one focus, wowing our customers with great products and even greater customer service. 30 years later, we are still doing exactly that. Whether you're looking for marketing tools to promote your business, gifts for your employees or clients, or planning a special event, we're here with the voice of experience to help you every step of the way for your complete satisfaction. Visit our new showroom in the Mill Creek Shopping Center, 4577 Kirkwood Highway. Unique Image, you envision, we create.
Hi, I'm Scott Kammerer from Solo Concepts. Solo Concepts is an award-winning restaurant group on the culinary coast with 10 locations. We're a chef-driven group. Come check us out. See you soon. Solo Concepts believes in the vision of our founder, Matt Haley. Cook beautiful, simple food, develop the people we work with, and make the world a better place. Solo Concepts on the culinary coast with 10 locations from Lois, Delaware to Fenwick Island. Come check us out.
Welcome back to 302 Sports Weekly. Special thanks to Jason Winchell and Mike Lang for joining us to talk about basketball and football. But right now, Pat, it's time for the final rundown, buddy. University of Delaware football, what happened?
It was a tough one. The Hens ended the season on a really sour note. 28-7 loss to rival Villanova. And at 7-4, the FCS selection committee did not give UD a berth to the playoffs. However, led by 4 first-team selections, the University of Delaware football squad was well represented on the All-Colonial Athletic Association football teams announced by the conference. Freshman linebacker Colby Reeder, formerly of Salesianum, was selected as the CAA Defensive Rookie of the Year. He became the 8th Delaware player to earn Conference Rookie of the Year honors and the 3rd in the last 4 seasons. Earning first-team notice for the Blue Hens were senior center Brody Kern, senior defensive tackle Bilal Nichols, formerly of Hodson, junior linebacker Troy Reeder of Salesianum, and junior safety Nasir Adderley. The Hens graduate 18 seniors and will look to build off a successful 2017 campaign going into 2018. I believe they flipped their record, am I correct?
They did 4-7 to 7-4. As a matter of fact, their head coach Danny Rocco has never had a losing season in his college coaching career through Liberty, Richmond, and now University of Delaware. All right, the football season ends. Basketball season begins for UD. Yale jumped out. They played Yale. The Hens did this past week. And they jumped out to a 24-point lead. Unfortunately, they were able to hold that lead off in the Blue Hens in the second half as the Bulldogs posted a 76-66 win over Delaware Monday night at the Bob Carpenter Center. Anthony Mosley, the Sanford senior, Champ Mosley, had a team-high 23 points. He also had 9 rebounds. Mosley reached double figures for the 5th time already this season.
Wow. He's doing impressive. He was an 8th grader back my senior year at Sanford, and you can tell right away the kid is going to be okay. So
he's got a lot of talent.
Continued success to him. Coming on to Wesley football. The 13th ranked Wesley College football team dropped a 49-28 decision to the 10th ranked Brockport Golden Eagles in the second round of the NCAA championship tournament. Alex Kemp, formerly of Caesar Rodney, had 3 catches, 94 yards, and a touchdown. Mike Sabino, formerly of Lake Forest, had 7 solo tackles, a sack for a 10-yard loss, and a forced fumble. and we'll move right into basketball. But anyway, great season
Yes,
for the Wesley
football
program.
team.
They always have a great year, obviously, but it's a shame that the season had to come to an end. But they've been playing. They played well this year.
Those dastardly Golden Eagles, Pat.
That's it, man.
Looking at the Wesley basketball team, the Wesley College men's basketball team overcame a late deficit to take a road Capital Athletic Conference win away from the Penn State Harrisburg Lions. Score 74-73 on Tuesday. J.W. Lawson from Concord led the Wolverines with a game-high 20 points. Lawson also led the team with 5 rebounds and 5 steals. Brian Cameron from DMA tallied 16 points for the Wolverines and dished out 4 assists in the victory.
Yeah, moving on. Hopefully they have a good year in basketball as well as they did in football.
Yes.
Couple Delaware players playing down there. Moving on to Del Valley. Delaware Valley University scored 4 touchdowns while the Aggie defense intercepted 4 passes and had a score of their own as they advanced to the NCAA Division III quarterfinals with a 37-15 victory over the visiting Husson, I believe, I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong, University. Defensively, Nicholas DeGatti of Middletown led the Aggie attack with 11 tackles. Nick Wright and Sean Miller, formerly of Laurel, added 8 tackles apiece, with Wright picking off a pass as well.
Very impressive stuff there for Delaware Valley. Looking at Shepherd University, they finished 10-2. They scored 20 unanswered points, however, in the second half to rally for a 29-17 win over Shepherd University. That is Findlay University, in the first round, actually, NCAA Division II football championship at Ram Stadium on this past Saturday. Sophomore tight end DJ Cornish from Lake Forest added 5 catches for 87 yards. Freshman defensive back Shane Wilkins from Middletown added 10 stops for Shepherd University.
That's impressive. Let's move on to the big boys. Pittsburgh.
Yes.
University of Pittsburgh. Good week for Pitt football. All right, they knocked off the turnover chain-laden Miami Hurricanes with 4 Pitt players named to the All-Atlantic Coast Conference football team announced today by the league office. Quadri Henderson, formerly of AI DuPont, shout out Nick Hall, I know you're happy to hear that name, was honored on the second team for his production as a return specialist. He compiled 767 combined kick return yards, 524 on kickoffs, 243 on punts, and that total ranked 15th nationally. Henderson's 2 punt return touchdowns this season are tied for the ACC lead and ranked 2nd in the nation. This is the 2nd year in a row Henderson has been on the All-ACC return man. Brian O'Neill, formerly of Salesianum, was named All-ACC for the 2nd consecutive season. He was a 2nd team pick last year by the coaches. For the 2017 season, O'Neill shifted from right to left tackle, where he started all 12 contests. He owns an active streak, 37 consecutive starts on the Panthers' offensive line.
Hopefully the Giants don't pick him up, or else they'll bench him for Geno Smith.
Yeah, Ben McAdoo.
Looking at ECU, Isaac Fleming from Wilmington, Delaware at NCA tied his career high with 23 points, scoring 17 second-half points for ECU, but his team fell short to the Aggies by 1 point. Isaac is currently averaging 12 points a game. Very impressed with that young man, which is 3rd best for ECU.
He had a little dip with William Penn back in the day, so it's good to see Isaac still doing well. Moving on to Reiner University, redshirt freshman Jordan Allen, formerly of Dover High, has been named the MAAC Rookie of the Week for the 2nd straight week this season. Allen averaged a team-high 18.7 points to go along with 4 rebounds per game in the Broncos' 3-0 week and the Las Vegas Invitational Upper Division Championship. He shot 45.5% from long range, hitting at least 3 3-point field goals in all 3 games. For his effort, he was named to the Las Vegas Invitational All-Tournament team. Allen began the week with 15 points and 4 rebounds. That was a win at George Washington, then scored 17 points, 3 of 7 from deep in a win over UC Irvine. And his game-high 22 points pushed Ryder to a 94-80 win over Hampton on Friday. For the season, Allen is averaging a team-best 17.8 points per game while shooting 46.8% from deep. He scored double figures and hit at least 3 3-point field goals in all 6 games he's played.
Time to look at Villanova. Dante DiVincenzo from Salesianum, his Wildcats. They won the Battle for Atlantis in Paradise Island of the Bahamas. Must have been nice to go down there.
Oh, yeah.
Donnie had 8 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists in the championship game. In terms of women's basketball, Adriana Hahn has earned a spot on the Big East Weekly Honor Roll Han has earned the honors for play in 2 games this past week for Villanova. She's helped Villanova to the TD Bank Vermont Thanksgiving Tournament Championship with wins over James Madison and American. In the 2 victories, she averaged 15.5 points per game. Eyes going on me a little bit there. And connected on 8 3-point field goals. Her best performance came, though, in the title game versus American, where she scored a game-high 16 points on 5 of 11 shooting from 3-point range. For her efforts, Han was named to the all-tournament team, and after 5 games in the 2017-2018 season, Han leads the 5-0 Wildcats in scoring with 14.2 points per game. She also has made the team high with 17 points, 17 3-point field goals, and she is second on the team in assists with 14. Very impressive.
Yeah, not surprising. She can fill it up. Always could. Last but not least, got to talk about my boys, baby. Duke Blue Devils. Trayvon Duval spent a year at Sanford from the Wilmington, Delaware area. 11 points, 6 assists, and an impressive 87-84 win over Florida, in which they overcame a 17-point deficit. He's averaging 8 assists a game, which is second in the ACC, and his assist-to-turnover ratio of 2.6. That's one of the best in the country. Also, he is second in the ACC with 2.6 steals per game. So keep doing it, Tricky Trey. Keep the Blue Devils on top. Him and Marvin Bagley.
Our players of the week: Will Knight, 19 carries, 151 yards, 3 touchdowns in their victory to get Smyrna in the championship game. And Tishon Denard, 8 touchdowns for this young man and a win over AI to get the Division I ticket to the Division II championship. Of course, check out the live stream both those games at the NFHS Network. Delmar and Milford, Smyrna and Middletown. The D1 game, Smyrna and Middletown, is at 1 o'clock. D2 game is at 5:30. Also want to say thank you very much to Dr. Robinson from Slam Dunk to the Beach 2017. Excited for that. Excited for a lot of stuff going down in 302 Sports.
100%. And again, if you get a chance to go down to the Slam Dunk to the Beach this year after Christmas, do so. It is the premier sporting event in the state of Delaware. You're going to see a lot of talent, especially if you like basketball.
Myself, Benny Pinella, Pat Garianis, of course, Jason Winchell, Mike Lang. Special thanks again to Dr. Matthew Robinson for stopping by. And for everyone here at 302 Sports Weekly, thank you very much for joining us. Talk to you again next week. Take care.